morning, grade 5s. Happy Wednesday. It is day 4 of e-learning. I'm hoping by this point it's becoming kind of a routine. You're getting into your own routine, whatever that is, whatever time you're starting. But I'm really hoping, as well as Miss Rachel and Mr. Matt, that you're keeping up. You're not letting it all pile up. So that's our hope. So for today, you're going to need the following things. You're going to need a pencil, your math notebook, and then the conversion worksheets. That's the practice you'll do after. So you don't need that right now. That's just what you're going to need after. It's going to be an Edmodo. So for now, just grab a pencil, your math notebook, and then we can start doing some review. So pause this, go grab those things, and come and join me, please. And we can start doing some review. So now for today's lesson, I'm okay if you don't write these notes down. I'm just doing a review. I would really recommend this if you are still confused, if you're still a little lost, but if you just want to be an active listener and you just want to participate by watching today's lesson, that's also fine. But I do want you to be, when I say active, I mean I want you to be not just putting this and watching TV on the other side, no, watching this, answering my questions as I'm saying this, try doing it in your mind, but please write this down if you definitely are still very lost. So it's Wednesday, March 25th, and we're just going to do a quick review. So if you remember, our first job, our main new learning from yesterday with all those steps was to understand how to use the conversion ladder, which is this. I've already drawn the ladder. And now we need to remember that fancy acronym. And remember I said you can use your own acronym to memorize it, but we need to know it in order. And hopefully, let's see if you remember. Oh, I've got blue there. Perfect. Let's see if you remember. Do you remember what the order was? Maybe try saying it with me. King Henry died unexpectedly drinking milk. But cold milk works too. Excellent. Hopefully you got that. Or you have your own acronym. And so I'm going to use that same thing and fill my ladder in, right? Because we know if that's in order, then this is also in order. So we've got K for kilometer. Then we've got our H, which we know is hectares. Then we've got our D, which is decameter. And like I said, we don't use those units too often in grade 5, but it's a good fact to know. U is here, but we know U represents, and I'll put it in brackets, meters. It also represents grams and liters. We just don't need to know that yet. We will a little bit later in the unit. Then another D, which is decimeter. So remember the difference between decameter and decimeter. Then we've got C, centimeter, and then M for millimeter. Make sure that you don't get confused that this one is millimeter and this is meter. Okay, don't get confused. Just take those dots out. Okay? Now, this last bit of the ladder you need to know is what happens if I'm going up the ladder and what happens if I'm going down the ladder. Okay, so I'll put it down over here. So if you remember, if I'm going down the ladder, do I move right or left? Say it out loud right now. If I'm going down, I move to the right, right? Hopefully you saw that. If I move up the ladder, I then move to the left, okay? Hopefully you got that down somehow ingrained in your mind. So if I'm going down, I move to the right. If I go up, I move to the left. Okay, let's do some practice questions now. Let me get my sheet. Okay. And that's what today will be, just to quickly review, and then we can get on some practice. So let's say I have, and I'll do it over here. First one, let's say I've got 0.8 meters equals blank centimeter. Okay, so now let's look at all the steps. So if you got your notebook out, you can look at the steps. So the first step is just to figure out how many scoopies I'm moving and then which direction, right? I hope you remember that. So let's see where I'm starting. I'm sitting, my starting point is meter, and I want to end at centimeter. So on the ladder right now, where are we starting and where do you want to go? Draw those scoopies. Do that now before I do it. Okay? So right now I'm at meter, not millimeters, I'm at meters. So I'm right here. I'm starting right over here. And I want to go to centimeter. That means I need to make 2 scoopies down to end up where I want to be, which is centimeter. So that tells me I did, and I'll write it over here, right? I did 2 scoopies down, which means what? I have to move 2 scoopies. My decimal move how many scoopies? To the right or to the left? So if I know I went down, which is over here, if I went, oh sorry, not that one. If I went down, I'm over here. I know I have to move to the right. So 2 scoopies to the right. Okay, that's the rule. And now let's actually do it. Let me just erase. Actually, we can leave that. Okay, so right now my decimal happens to be here, right? It's right here with me, so I can actually use it. So I'm moving to the right, right? 2 scoopies. So I'm over here. I'm starting at the decimal, and I go over 1 scoopie. And I'm just going to, because the M is here, I'm going to pretend like that's another scoopie. And my new decimal will be right here. So my answer, remember you have to fill in the scoopie, happens to be 8. And then you fill in the scoopie, it's not M, it just happens to be in right now. You have to fill that scoopie in with a 0. Okay, so you forget about this, you forget about the original decimal, the M is nothing, but you have to fill it in with a 0, so it becomes 80. Okay, I'm just going to cross that so you can see it. But you forget about 0, you forget about decimal. So 0.8 meter is equal to 80 centimeters. Okay, let's try another one. And you can try doing it on your own before I answer it. Number 2. Let's do another example. Let's do 4 centimeter is equal to how many meter? So let's try doing the opposite way. So I've got 4 centimeter. How many meters is that? Pause the video right now and do it on your own, please. And I'll erase this. So try doing it on your own. Okay, let's do it together. So I know I'm starting off at a centimeter. Okay, that means I want a different color. That means I'm starting right here. So I'll put a little dot. That's my starting point. And I want to go to, that was my starting point. I want to eventually end up at meters, right? And we know that happens to be in the U, right? The M. So I need to go up 2 scoopies to end up from centimeter to meter. Okay, that means, and I'll just simplify. Excuse me. I went 2, now scoopies up, which I know that I need to move 2 scoopies. So remember, if I'm going up the ladder, I am moving to the left. And that will again become ingrained too. So 2 scoopies to the left. Now, in this case, there's no visible decimal, right? There's no decimal I can see, but what's the rule? If I don't see a decimal, the invisible decimal is where? On the right side of the ones. And in this number, there's only 1 ones. It's only 4. So I know my invisible decimal is sitting right there. We just can't see it. We just don't have it there right now because it happens to be 4.00000. Now I'm moving to the left 2 scoopies, and just for now, I'll erase this. I've got some space. I'll write it over here. Okay, let me go back to my blue. So I'm going 2 scoopies to the left. I'm starting over here. I scoop 1 number, that's 1, and I scoop another number, and that becomes my new decimal. And what do I know? That if I have any empty scoopies, which I do, right now this is empty, I need to fill it in with, what do I need to fill it in with? A 0. So let me write in what I have, right? I have 4, I have this empty space, I have a decimal, so I know I need to put a 0 here. And obviously this is correct, but we don't write numbers like that. You have to add that last 0. So 0.04. So 4 centimeter is equal to 4.04 meters. Okay, let's do one more. Let's get number 3. Okay, let's do 12.5 meter is equal to blank centimeter. Okay, so I want you to pause the video right now, try that on your own. How would you do that? So pause it and try it. Even if you're a little bit confused, try it on your own, see how much you can do on your own, following those 4 steps, right? So first step, you need to figure out how many scoopies am I going and I'm moving, and then am I going up or down? Then you got to place that decimal, put your pencil on the decimal, then you either move to the right, to the left, and then you create that new decimal. So try doing that on your own, and then now we can try it together. So I'm at 12.5 meters. So I'm starting over at the meter. Okay, then I know I need to end up at centimeter, right? I'm starting at meter, I want to end up at centimeter. So I'm right here, I want to end up at centimeter. So let's count how many scoopies that was. From here, 1, 2, so that's 2 scoopies. So I went 2 scoopies. And was I going down or up? So I went from here to down. And that's why I like to put the arrows so you don't get confused. Because if I didn't put the arrow, right, let me just, if I erase that arrow, and you just had the 2 scoopies, you wouldn't even know where my starting or my ending is. So that's why try putting something. Maybe you put an S here to say start, and maybe you put end here or something. I put little arrows to help me. So this is my starting dot. My ending is, oh, I need to go here. That's why I put the arrow. Whatever helps you. So I know I went 2 scoopies down. And by now you probably know that means I need to move 2 scoopies to the right. Okay, down is always right. Okay, now let's do this. So I'm starting off, my decimal happens to be here, it's not invisible, so it's right here, and I need to move 2 scoopies to the right. So 1 scoopie, which is the 5, and then 1 more scoopie, which is where my new decimal is going to be, right? And you forget about this first decimal. So now it becomes 1, 2, 5, and if I have an empty scoopie, I know I need to fill it in with a 0. So now, therefore, 12.5 meters is equal to 1,250 centimeters, okay? So that's basically just a recap and a review what we did yesterday. Today's practice questions that you'll be working on are the following 2 worksheets. So one of the worksheet looks like this, okay? And this worksheet focuses on meters and kilometers, okay? So for example, 1A, let's look at 1A. We can do that one together. So it says I'm going from 7,513 meters to blank kilometers. Okay, I'm going to go back to my ladder. Let me erase this. Okay, let me do it now. So I know I'm starting off at meter, and I want to go to, I think it was kilometer. Yeah, I want to go to kilometers. So 1, 2, 3. So I've gone 3 scoopies up. I've gone 3 scoopies up. That means I need to go 3 scoopies left. So let's try that. 3 scoopies left. So my decimal right now, and let me make this a little tiny. Let's do this one. So right now my invisible decimal is where right now? Next to the 3. Hopefully you got that, to the 3. I need to go 3 scoopies to the left, right? So that means 1 scoopie, 2 scoopie, 3 scoopie. That's my new decimal, and we forget the old one. So my answer ends up being 7.513. Okay, I'm doing one answer for you. That's your answer for number 1A on one of your worksheets. Okay, let's do, and the next worksheet, so this one, worksheet number 1, your practice sheet 1, is looking at just meters and decimal, meters and kilometer. Then your second worksheet looks at the other 3, centimeters, meters, and millimeters. Okay, let's also do one over here. Let's do 1A, and now I've got 155 centimeters, and I'm going to meters. So let's go back to here. Let me erase this. Okay, I was going from centimeter, so I'm over here, and I'm trying to go to, I think it was meters, yes. So I'm going 1, 2 scoopies up. I went from centimeters to meters. That means I went 2 scoopies up, which tells me, which is this one, right? I went 2 scoopies up, that means 2 scoopies to the left. Okay, let's try doing 2 scoopies to the left. So I'm over here. Where's my decimal right now? Over here. And I'm going 2 scoopies to the left, which happens to be 1 scoopie, which is between the 2 5s, and another scoopie, which is between the 1 and the 5. That's your new decimal. So I'll forget the first decimal, becomes 1.55. Okay, so 1.55 meters is equal to 155 centimeters. Okay, that's what you're doing today. Now, both of these worksheets, so that's worksheet number 1 over here, worksheet number 2 over here, both these worksheets have the answers at the bottom. That isn't, obviously I'm giving you the answers because I want you to check your answers. Please don't just go down. This is where your honesty, integrity comes in. Obviously, you could do that, and Miss Rachel, myself, and Mr. Matt will never find out if you actually did the work or not. But I will be able to tell, and I do want you to draw these scoopies in. So when you're doing your work, I should see scoopies here, and scoopies here, and scoopies here. So I see, that's your show your work, right? Because in math, we're always showing our work. There's not much work to show here other than I should see maybe a ladder drawn somewhere here on your page. I should see the acronyms. I should see scoopies up, scoopies down. So that's how I know that you didn't just go scroll down, copy down the answers, and put them in. So I'm putting that there. I want to put that there, obviously, because I want you to be able to check your work, because you need to know if you're doing it well or not. And if you're not, you're getting everything wrong, then that's when you're going to message on Edmodo to Miss Rachel or me or Mr. Matt, whoever your teacher is, that, Mr. Matt, I'm trying so many of the conversion questions and I'm just not getting it. And then that's where we can help you, okay? So that answers are going to be at the bottom of those 2 worksheets, and they will be on Edmodo. Okay, so all your to-do list for today is, step 1, I want you to review your conversion ladder. So just go back again, try to memorize it, try to say it out loud. Do you know it in order? Number 2 is to do your conversion worksheets, which are just these 2 things. Okay, and it'll be on Edmodo. And the last one, as always, is your check-in, and it's on Edmodo. Hopefully you're doing your check-in. Some of you that, again, I've told you, that's for me to know that, to make sure that you, 1, understand the work, and also tells me who's actually doing your work. As always, you'll have until the end of this week, so Saturday at 11:59 p.m., right before 12 a.m., it'll be closed. So you'll have it open until Saturday, 12:59. After that, it gets locked. You can't do it. That tells me that those students who didn't bother to do it all week get no credit. Okay? So 3 things for you to do today, and that was it. So today's lesson is very short. I just want you to do some practice, practice, practice. Okay? Have a lovely, lovely Wednesday, and then I'll see you tomorrow for Thursday, last day of the week. Okay? See you. Bye.